Topping today's news, the Free National Movement MP for Central Grand Bahama resigns from the party, citing disunity. The government moves ahead with a bill to regulate mining of natural resources in the country, and the government Clear Hold Build initiative coming to the aid of 2 senior citizens living in poor conditions in the inner city. JCN Evening News. I'm Jarino Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us. The 5 members of the official opposition in the House of Assembly has now been reduced to 4. And for the first time in a very long time, more than a decade, a third party will be represented in Parliament, as the member for Central Grand Bahama, Aram Lewis, today officially resigned from the FNM and pledged his commitment to the Coalition of Independence. Mr. Lewis explained that since his support for former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis at the last FNM convention, he has been ostracized despite his commitment to the party.
However, Madam Speaker, in recent times, a sense of unease has settled within me. I find myself increasingly concerned about the direction my party has taken. It pains me to say, Madam Speaker, that the FNM that I see today does not entirely reflect the party I have known and loved all my life. The spirit of unity and shared purpose that once defined us seems to have been replaced by internal strife and division, which is very unfortunate. As a senior member of this party, I have observed these changes with growing concern. And if you look at the papers in recent times, there's been this call for unity by persons who would have served in senior capacity. I have witnessed a departure, Madam Speaker, from the collaborative spirit that should guide our actions. I have felt the lack of the support I believe is due to any member of this body, and in my case, due to a personal choice that is also a constitutional right of mine. My decision, I believe, to not openly endorse the current leadership, a decision I made in good conscience, has seemingly led to a situation where my dedication and my service are called into question.
With elections looming and uncertainty surrounding his candidacy, the former Minister of Sports in the Minnis administration made the following stunning announcement.
I stand before you today, Madam Speaker and Bahamas, not with anger, but with a profound sense of responsibility to my constituents and, of course, to the Bahamian people. It is with this responsibility in mind that I announce my decision, painfully yet courageously, to withdraw from the Free National Movement caucus. This decision, Madam Speaker, has not been made lightly. It is a decision born of deep reflection and a sincere desire to serve my country without the constraint of hard partisan politics. Madam Speaker, I believe that the people of the Bahamas deserves a government that is united in its commitment to progress and prosperity. Therefore, from this day forward, I will no longer remain where I'm tolerated, but where I believe I'm appreciated. I will not cross the floor and sit with the other side, because it would be very disingenuous of me, having criticized the other side so openly and consistently. I have given credit where credit is due, but it would be very disingenuous and hypocritical of me to now join the very forces that I've been fighting against. Therefore, Madam Speaker in Bahamas, from this day forward, I will sit as the first member of Parliament representing the Coalition of Independence Party.
What?
I will dedicate myself to a bipartisan approach, working with all members of this body. Yes, this takes courage, it takes commitment, and I'm convinced that I am doing what I have to do.
FNM leader Michael Pintard nor former leader Dr. Hubert Minnis were present when Lewis made the announcement. Following the announcement by the Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama, Aram Lewis, that he would be resigning from the Free National Movement and joining the COI, FNM Deputy Leader, before contributing to the debate on the Mining Bill 2023, that's Mr. Shannon Cartwright, he reacted to Lewis's resignation, wishing him well.
Madam Speaker, one of the beautiful things about the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is something we call democracy, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, our former member this morning made a decision in this honorable House, and now he joins a list of many other persons. History of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is in fact replete with members who made similar decisions from both sides of the political aisle, Madam Speaker, where members of the Progressive Liberal Party have decided to go an alternate route, and members of the Free National Movement have done the same, Madam Speaker. And so, Madam Speaker, in a very sobering way, Madam Speaker, of course, there will be plenty days of the politics of this, and even today, the politics of it. But the truth is, Madam Speaker, the honourable member, who I know, we all know very well, I have a personal relationship with him, just as I do with members on the opposite side, made a democratic decision, and a decision that he has the right to make, Madam Speaker. I would disagree with him on his characterization, Madam Speaker, of his tenure, and indeed the Free National Movement, Madam Speaker. But we're not here to debate that. We wish him well, Madam Speaker. We wish him well. That is his decision.
Despite the shocking move by Lewis that will seemingly weaken the opposition's presence in the House and solidifies recent statements about infighting in the Free National Movement, Mr. Cartwright says the FNM will continue to grow in strength and will be ready for elections in 2026 and will be ready to govern the Bahamas.
The Free National Movement, Madam Speaker, that's been around for the last 50 years, Madam Speaker, as we have been, will continue to soldier on in the best interests of the Bahamian people and for the Bahamian people, Madam Speaker. And so, just as we have at other times in the history of our great body, the election soon to come, Madam Speaker, will find itself, Madam Speaker, with a strong Free National Movement who is ready, Madam Speaker, to govern the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Again, FNM leader Michael Pintard was not present for the morning session. Members and supporters of the COI were jubilant in Rawson Square. There has been much interest by Bahamians as it relates to the nation's natural resources and their use for the benefit of the Bahamian people as opposed to being exploited by special interest groups. Well, today in Parliament, the Minister for the Environment and Natural Resources, Vaughn Miller, began debate on the Mining Bill 2023, which he describes as historic and transformative, will transform the Bahamian economy, he says.
Madam Speaker, this landmark piece of legislation is the blueprint for transformation of the Bahamian economy from a purely service-oriented one to a hybrid, where the mining sector assumes equal and parallel importance to the services sector. Indeed, Madam Speaker, this bill is a roadmap along a new path to economic prosperity, increased employment opportunities, and increased government revenues that will persist far into the future.
In large part, the official opposition supports the bill, but pointed out several concerns they have with certain aspects of the bill they wish to see the government address. Finally, in this segment, today in Parliament, Prime Minister Philip Davis seconded that Mining Bill 2023, noting that there has been considerable and justifiable interest in mining and natural resources by Bahamians. He said, unlike many developing countries around the world whose natural resources are exploited by large foreign companies, the government of the Bahamas will not allow this to happen.
Any enterprise we allow to operate in our jurisdiction must preserve our natural environment. It must respect our people and conduct their businesses in a way that align with our national interests. That is what this bill before us is about, safeguarding our national treasures while ensuring that Bahamian people benefit from any mining in our country. In driving the introduction, of a national mining policy, we sought and received input from major environmental stakeholders. We had productive conversations with a variety of experts regarding best practices when it comes to protecting marine and land resources and prohibiting unregulated mining within our borders. Our policies seek to balance sustainability goals with the potential of new resource development paths.
The Prime Minister, Mr. Davis, said the bill will also ensure that Bahamians are included in the mining industry at various levels. Additionally, he explains that the bill will also introduce a mining register to provide transparency.
We want Bahamians around the decision-making table, keeping a watchful eye over any operations. We want Bahamian owners who have a sense of patriotism and care about the future of our nation. This bill ensures that Bahamians can play key roles in these operations. This bill will introduce a mining cadastry register so that Bahamians can see for themselves who is applying for mineral rights and mining licenses and who has received rights and licenses, and the relevant details of who, what, where, and when, and how these activities shall be conducted. This transparency, in our view, is critical.
The Prime Minister noted that any mineral rights established can also be suspended or canceled due to any relevant breaches of the agreement, conditions, or violations of this new law. You're listening to JCN News. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back following these commercials.